next.tv on the internet radio platform. We call it Cool Groove. So if you have Alexa or Siri, say, Siri, play Cool Groove Radio. Alexa, play Cool Groove Radio. But right now we're live. Athena, how are you, my sister?
I am good. I'm good. How are you, Jumbo Love?
Jumbo Love is just like this big old 65-year-old man with a 13-year-old energy, full of zest every day that God allows me to come out and meet people like you and share information, resources, and awareness to the community. Gets real simple.
hmm
So
I'm
introduce
excited.
Athena Salisbury, please.
You said who do what now?
Introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I am Athena Salisbury. I am one of the community engagement partners for CenterWell. What that means is that I get out into the community and tell you all a little bit more about what CenterWell does and who we are. So, just a quick synopsis: we are a primary care that caters to the senior population. So, if you have Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Medicaid combination, supplement with Medicare, we want to be your primary care doctor's office. How much
Now,
time do I got?
no, you got time because I told you this is a 2 hour platform, and I want them to get used to you and Center Well. Right now we have information pending, of course, but you would be a great provider. Centerwell would be a great provider to the platform and to the listening audience that we have gathered. Going on 14 years because they are seeking information that Centerwell provides. And I know one thing: I am more intrigued now about signing up to get me some health care after witnessing how you and your team, first of all, understand the intimate nature of our community. And I'm candid, I'm an African American brother, and I am sensitive about who I go see about
Yeah,
my primary care. That's a fact. And I think most brothers and sisters feel like me of my age. So, first of all, I want to know a little bit about Athena Salisbury since we have time, a little bit about, where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? And then how did you venture into this lane of saying, you know what, I need to be out here helping my seniors understand more about aging and how the benefits of aging don't have to be rigorous, they can be beneficial.
sure. Well, I am a 42-year-old ball of fire, so I like to think I still have the same energy that you have, but I don't know. I can't keep up with you that much, but uh, I am a mother of a 24-year-old. I have a grandson. I am a God-fearing woman. I am just overwhelmingly a caring person, but sometimes to my fault. So I pride myself in being the person my grandmother raised me to be. So as we know in the Black community, them grandmamas kept you straight, and
Fist
mine
bump.
did.
Give me a cyber fist bump on that.
Yes, because I mean, my grandmother was definitely she definitely raised me. My grandmother took all that responsibility, so I commend her. God rest her soul. She definitely earned her rest. So shout out to Miss Dolores Teague and her heavenly rest. But more about me and how I got to this role. I took care of my grandmother for probably about 20 something years of my life. And if you did the math, yes, that was half of my life. I've been taking care of someone else, whether it was my grandmother, my aunt, my grandfather, somebody always needed my helping hand. So I have been that person. And how I ventured into Central, well, a dear friend of mine said, "You would be perfect for this job because that's who you are and that's what you do." And so she told me about this job, and I looked at the specs, I looked at the company, I was like, where have they been all my life? You know what I mean? Because
You were
I,
ready at the moment.
I was ready because at that moment I was working at a dentist office part time. I was looking at my bank account, said, Athena, you need to get back to full time work because the way this economy is working and insurance costs, you got to get back to corporate. But looking at who Centerwell is as a whole, as a company, it blew my mind that somebody actually exists that actually takes pride in their patients. Yes, I'm not going to act like this isn't a business. We need patients, we need people in order for this to keep going. But the fact that you can come into a place and get the adequate health care that you need especially for a senior or someone who has Medicare. It's mind blowing that this exists. A quick background about CenterWell in general. This it's owned technically by Humana. And as we know, Humana and Oak Street used to be hand in hand. Well, the story goes, Humana had this idea of value-based care, meaning that we take the value of the patient into account versus the money that we make from them. And so they sold the idea to Oak Street. And Oak Street did it for so long because those who know Oak Street, they've seen where it used to say Humana, Oak Street together. Well, Humana started to notice that Oak Street was changing things around. I'm not going to say what they changed or what was different, but they started to change things from what they originally had that concept to be. And so Humana's powers that be said, wait a minute, why are we giving you the idea and we can just do it ourselves? And so that's
Exactly
when,
how we want it done.
yeah, and we can keep it how we want it. We know, keep the same integrity, the same values, the same value-based care that we have. We can do it on our own. So CenterWell was birthed over 15 years ago in other states. It just now came to Indiana. And so CenterWell is available in Tennessee, Texas, the Carolinas, to Florida, Georgia, Nevada, and now Indiana. You know, we're looking to expand and to grow this value-based care model so that more people, especially the Medicare population, can get the care that they need, not just be pushed to the side or given these 10-minute appointments because who in the world can tell what they need in 10 minutes?
And I'm glad, that see, just sometimes exploratory questions help explain it because many people did not know the technical side of how CenterWell was formed. Because all I know from being out in the community, just as a layperson in the community, I said, who are the CenterWell people? Where they come from? And did not know the dynamic of how Humana was partnering and then said, hey, my partner is not working with me right. We can do this ourselves. And sometimes that model just is better. I don't have anything, no skin in the game. I promise you. I hope that we become partners. But when I sat there for 20 minutes before we had the opportunity to meet and just listen to how attentive that all of the staff, all of your team were, from you to the ladies who were, taking phone. I was just sitting there and saying, we finally have some organization that truly understands what it takes to get people to want care. Because part of the problem is, as you mentioned, when you don't feel appreciated as a client, if I go to a restaurant and don't feel appreciated, I don't want to go back. Mm-hmm. So why would I want to go to a provider of some services and they treat me like I'm just a number to get me in and get me out? And I watch the care that you guys give. Talk about some of the care and some of the things that CenterWell understands through Humana, because Humana is part of the big three, as I like to call it, who was part of the Pathway Initiative that people don't know about. And we can go there if you want to, or leave that alone because that is something different, but it's all the same. Talk about how CenterWell reached the idea of saying, we have to just take our time. We have to understand the demographic. We have to understand this baby boomer population now that we're going to be taking care of. How did they come to the arrival of knowing that the sensitivity issues, the patience with your patient, no pun intended. How did they come to that?
Well, I would say because Humana is like our father, if you will, and we're like the child that they push out to the world and say, go do good things, right? They're still in the background rooting us on, but they still don't have as much control over the center itself because we're payer agnostic. You can have Anthem, United Healthcare, or Humana, any of them to come here as long as Medicare is part of the component. But I think the biggest thing that happened was, as an insurance company, Humana started to notice that more people were treating the emergency room as their primary care versus going to the primary care.
And preventive.
Preventive. And we all know that it costs a lot of money to go to the emergency room, right? So if you're thinking about it from a business standpoint, they took a step back and said, okay, it costs a lot of money to keep this person going to the emergency room. Why not give them the care they need as a preventative measure and keep them out of the emergency room, keep them out of the hospital versus sending them straight to it or giving them that only option. So a couple of things that they put into place is that we have same day appointments for our patients. So if someone out there wants to become our patient and they wake up in the morning, they're like, I just don't feel well. Or even if it's in the afternoon, I just don't feel well. We have time slots we build in there for that person to be worked into the appointment time, right? Or I'm sorry, worked into the day. We don't have a whole bunch of patients where we can't fit someone in. In fact, we only see 8 clients scheduled a day. So we only schedule 8 patients. So let's say one day we only have 5 people scheduled and you called in the afternoon and said, I just really need to be seen today, we can get you in. It's not
But we're not overbooking.
no, no, we're
Because
not
I'm telling you,
overbooking at
man,
all.
the most doctor's office, they tell you to come in at 11 and there's 7 other people in there at 11. And I'm
Yes,
like, hey, wait a minute.
no. We only have 8 slots scheduled a day. We have 2 worked in during the day. And if we just can't get you in, I mean, we always figure out a way to get you in. We have 5 other clinics around the city if we needed to get you in that somebody somewhere could get you seen. Or we could even do a telehealth visit. So we do have options to do a virtual visit if you physically can't make it here. And also, as a nicety or a great aspect to us, we have a 24/7 access line. So let's say this, you feel bad at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. We're technically not open at 6 o'clock. And you call that 24/7 access line and say, look, I really don't feel good. We look on your chart, we just changed your medicine. We might tell you, okay, let's stop that medication that you have and let's see you tomorrow morning. Or let's call the ambulance because what you're experiencing right now, you need more immediate attention. Or the doctor might say, well, let me just call in the script real quick, the first, to the closest 24/7 pharmacy that might be around your house. So we do have those options. And we have noticed that by doing this care this way, we are keeping people out of the hospital. We're keeping them maintained on their medicines that they need. We're not pushing medicine, but we're also saying if you need this, let's monitor you and get in front of it and make sure that you're getting everything you need so that you're not living in despair. If I have a quick moment, I could even tell you a quick story about a gentleman.
And
Um,
Tina, I
huh?
told you, it's your stage,
That's
mommy.
okay. I can tell you about a gentleman who is a patient here with us. He's at one of our locations, and I just so happened to be walking in the door when this was happening. But unbeknownst to me, he had called an Uber to the clinic because he does not know how to read or write. And he brought his mail here because the clinic administrator said, bring me your mail so I can help you figure out what's going on with your insurance. He brought his mail in. He bought a bag of mail. She went through each one of those items and figured out, oh, you lost your insurance because you did not submit this paper on time. So she got on the phone without even hesitation, got on the phone with the insurance. So what do we need to do to get him back reinstated? She tagged me in and said, do you know an insurance agent who can help him get reinstated? Through the course of talking to this gentleman, they found out he had gone 3 weeks without food.
Wow.
So he literally had been sitting at home suffering in silence. He didn't have his medication because his insurance lapsed because he didn't sign and fill out a certain paper for Medicaid. And then he had no food in the house or had no way to get it because he doesn't drive. He doesn't have a cell phone and he doesn't answer his door either. So that's all these caveats to it, right? He's a senior who is stuck in his ways. He doesn't want technology, things of that nature. He was here for about 5 hours. During the course of that 5 hours, we got him reinstated back on his insurance by that Monday. This happened on a Thursday, so they got him back on the insurance by that Monday. Got him a food box program brought to his home so he doesn't have to worry about going to find groceries. He actually gets them delivered to his house once a week. And then also the nurse practitioner, she went across the street to Aldi and got him a bag of groceries out of her own pocket.
Yeah.
And then they ordered him some food to eat while he was here. So this is the type of wraparound service that you don't find at most doctor's office because the staff, they literally zoned in and this gentleman said, I need help. And we kicked into gear to find him the help that he needed. Now, that's not everybody's situation. That's not everybody's extenuating circumstance, excuse me. But that is literally how we take your care, we individualize it, we figure out what you need, and we help you get the resources before you leave our office. Or if we can't figure it out by the time you leave, you get it within 48 to 72 hours of you leaving here. So
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because you
that's
said you
not
read the
normal.
spec. No, you said you read the specs on the job description.
Hmm.
And I said, yeah, they hired the right person. This is tough in this business right now. But you've touched on so many subject matters. First of all, you being a 24-year caregiver and understanding that what you just described, how that helps alleviate the pressure on a caregiver if you have an institution like Centerwell and you can take your loved one or your loved one's going there and they take care of that instead of you, knowing that the other 18 hours of that day you have 21st, you have that care to do and provide. So that is number one. Number two, we have touched on literacy, and you and
Hmm.
I have discussed this thoroughly about even if you can read and write in today's technology, many of the people who are very intelligent don't even know how to access on the
Hmm.
computer some of the resources available. So you're illiterate one way or the other, and
Yeah.
and so we have to get help in that vein, and also knowing that we're taking care of people from an intimate level, I think is going to draw more people into wanting to receive, as you mentioned, some of the preventative care. Talk about some of the preventative care because that is not only the physical but the mental as well.
Mhm. So we always recommend, especially when you get of a certain age, that you go to your doctor at least once every 3 months. If it's for nothing more than to double check your blood work and make sure that you're still physically feeling great, mentally feeling great, you're not having any kind of disparities. Because one thing people forget, when you go to primary care doctor, their goal should be to make sure that you don't need anything, right? It could be anything from food to
Good
mental
luck
health
on that
services.
one.
I mean, but that's what it's supposed to be. They're supposed to be your connector, if you will. And
I'm
that's
a
why I love
realist.
to,
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm a
yeah,
realist.
yeah.
A lot of the doctors are in partner with Big Pharma, and
Hmm.
Big Pharma have partners that say, if you can get them on this medication, we got one for the ugly toe. We got one. We got one for hair growing out of your ear. I mean, they get you in the network of their partners a lot of
Yeah,
times, and we're not aware of them. Before you know it, you're on 6 or 7 meds that you might not really need. That's
yeah. And that's the thing that I like to stress about Cineworld, because people will say, "Oh, doctors all push medicine." No, we listen to what you say. We give a recommendation, but at the end of the day, you are the only person who lives inside your body, right?
there you go.
We can't tell you how you feel. You have to tell us. So if you're on a medication currently that's not working, we want to work to get you to something that does work. If changing your diet is something that needs to happen, that's something, a conversation that we have as well. So we don't just say, here's a medication, go, go be free. You know what I mean? Our nurse practitioner, our doctor, they actually follow up with you usually within a week of you taking the medication. They usually have a regimen. 3 days later, a week later, 2 weeks later. Sometimes they make you come back within 2 weeks to see how a medication is working. And if it's not, they'll stop it. They'll go to whatever, they go to the next phase. They do this in stages. That's why I do appreciate here, you know what I mean? Like you were talking about, literacy with technology, because I'm over activities and I'm extra. If nobody's figured that out yet, I like to bring a lot of activities to the center that are free, to the public. You guys can come in and do whatever activity we have going on. It doesn't cost a dime to you. And but as a nicety, the company takes care of all of that. They take care of bringing these people in to help you learn technology things. Yes, you can go to the library and do it, but we bring it here to the center. So one, you have a safe place, you have a more controlled environment. As we know, at the library, it could be a bunch of people talking and you may not get, that one-on-one personal care that you want. But we try to bring all these activities to the activity center to keep seniors active, because we know if you get to sitting still and dwelling in things that are not, pleasant for you, you can become depressed. So we give you the social activities here so you can
That's
get
what I'm
social.
talking about.
And then
No, I'm
also,
smiling. I'm smiling because we don't address it. And when we start talking about preventative measures, many times
mhm,
isolation, as you mentioned, depression and anxiety lead to many of the ills that turn into physical ailments that
yeah,
people just don't understand. Um, you are touching on so many things, and
I know.
I pray. No, I pray that people understand more about going to get care and feeling welcome. And the last thing I want to touch on is this beautiful African queen that I saw, who is the head of the Centerwell Primary Senior Care. And then the picture on the board
Yeah,
of all these sister queens making
yeah.
sure, and we know, and I told you, I don't have anything to hide because I'm not bought. uh, African Americans, especially African American men, are so leery of
Mm-hmm.
going to get the care that you just mentioned once every 3 months. But I think if they come there, they'll be welcome to come and see some sisters who are like their little nieces and their daughters and people they can trust
Yeah.
and say, "This makes me want to come." And talk about your staff. It seems intentional.
Yeah, we do have a diverse staff. One of our locations, the location that you went to, is predominantly, if not everybody, is African American at that location off West Washington. From the doctor to the nurse practitioner to the front desk girls, they're all African American at that location. But Lafayette Road, for instance, the medical assistants, they're African American. There's actually a Spanish speaking young lady at the front desk. So we're intentional in the fact of we try to keep it as diverse as possible. We don't have a lot of male doctors or a lot of male nurse practitioners, unfortunately, but the ladies who are here, they are very thorough. And like I tell most men, it's like we women know our way around a man's body too. And we've probably seen a lot of things that they're trying to,
That we
do.
don't even want to know, y'all see.
I mean, I'm just saying,
And we
but
definitely don't want the commentary.
but we can't, as a medical staff, we can't talk about what happens behind that door. But we do have a male doctor, we have a male nurse practitioner. The African American nurse practitioner, he's on the east side at the Pendleton Pike location. But we try to keep as diverse as possible. And the way our care model is right now, we have one doctor, one nurse practitioner at each location. And the more we grow, the more doctors and more nurse practitioners we can bring in. So if your listeners all come and join us, we can get more and more diversity going. We can get more and more doctors in here.
Oh, seed
That
planet, seed planet.
yes,
And you
exactly.
mentioned locations. You mentioned 5 locations around the city. If you
Hmm.
can, call those locations off in case someone's listening. They can go to the center well of their choice.
Hmm. And I can be their connector too. So I don't want people to feel like because I'm mainly on the west side, they can't talk to me. I go to all sides of town. So I can be your person if you feel comfortable talking to me because
I
you
love
work.
this. Y'all ain't territorial.
No,
Jesus Christ. Centerwell
no.
is. I've worked with some agencies where if you come beyond this daggone block, you're in my
No.
territory. I'm excited.
No, I could be everywhere but nowhere all at the same time. But just be patient with me because I am one person. And like I tell people, if you want me to come and give you a tour at one of the 5 locations, I try to schedule as many in that day as possible so I can get that location knocked out because I'm predominantly west, but I will go east. So our locations are located on West Washington, like the 5100 block of West Washington. East Washington, the 5300 block of East Washington, Pendleton Pike, so that's the 8100 block of Pendleton Pike. The 86 in Colby is by Trader Joe's. It's up there by St. Vincent, so that's near 86 in Township
Yeah,
Line
that's
Road
the
area.
address. That's the address we'll be doing the understanding Medicaid maze next to.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that'll be at that location. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but um,
September the 10th, and it's
September 10th.
12 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we'll be at that location on the September 10th, and then the Lafayette Road location, 4500 block of Lafayette Road, right in front of the Walmart, but attached to the Dollar Tree, which is where I'm at right now. That's the location I'm at currently today.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, what we want to do, Athena, is we're going to continue to bring information about Centerwell out here, and I pray that we get an opportunity on a weekly to have you come in, or a monthly, however we schedule it, to make sure that people are abreast of the events that you guys are doing, so we can get attendance out and make people aware of this brand new initiative, fathered by Humana. I think this is incredible, and I think the people will benefit greatly by a provider understanding what our community needs, because we have a demographic of people that are totally lost in this information exchange.
Yeah, and I just want to share with any listeners out there, if you are interested in getting more information on a more personal level, meaning you want to do a tour, you want me to talk to you individually, or you want me to come talk to your group, your church, your organization, you can reach me at 317-625-8356, or my email is Salisbury just like the state, at centerwell.com. And Jumbo Love has my information, so you can always reach out to Jumbo Love and he can give you my information and connect us as well. But I appreciate you giving me this time, this platform to
Man,
speak.
this is rich, my sister, and I told you from the time we met, we're getting ready to do some major damage out here to the community as far as bringing this information, awareness, and resources provided by Centerwell Senior Primary Care. And thank you for explaining who you are, what you do, and hopefully we can get more people interested in taking some of these preventive measures
Yeah.
in their health care. And we
Yeah.
got that silver tsunami coming in 2030. So Centerwell's getting ready to blow all the way up. We got more seniors than we can handle right now, Athena.
Bring them on. Bring them on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, my friend. And we'll be talking soon. That
All
is
right. Have
Athena
a good one, everyone.
Salisbury. And she is with Centerwell.